Here we go. Are we gonna go ahead and get started? Well, it's not 6 o'clock yet. We got 1 more minute. Let me wait the 1 more minute. Let me wait.
I didn't receive the video last week, the one we did.
You didn't?
No.
You know what? I may have forgot. Did I send it out? Let me check now. I'll check. That was before. No, I think I sent it. Let me see. Sent. Yeah, I sent it out on November 23rd. Check November 23rd. All right, so did I start? Yeah. So what I wanted to do was, it's 6 o'clock now. I got a lot of questions in email, text messages. So I kind of wanted to go over some of these things. The first thing I wanted to go over, I had like 4 people contact me regarding ratio and proportions. Okay, ratio and proportions are is a big part of your exam, up to 3 to 4 problems. So you want to make sure you know how to do ratio and proportion. So first of all, can anybody tell me what a ratio is? Can anybody tell me what a ratio? What is a ratio? Okay, so first of all the ratio is just comparison between 2 things. It could be anything between boys and girls. It can be between black dice and red dice. It's just a comparison between 2 things. That's all the ratio is. It's a numerical thing between 2. So for example, for each recipe takes a half a cup of flour. So 1 batch of cookies, it takes 2 cups of flour. I don't know, but that's all the ratio is. A proportion is when you set 2 ratios equal to each other. So this is why, like for example, if you ever go to blow up a picture, okay, you want to increase the size. You want to increase it proportionally. Why? If you don't increase it proportionally, it'll be too fat or too skinny. You know how you drag that handle, it'll look funny. So that's what we mean by proportion. That means whatever times we increase it by width-wise, we're going to do the same thing lengthwise. Okay, so here, again, so a proportion is 2 ratios set equal to each other. Now, I'm going to show you 3 different ways to solve a proportion. Okay, the 3 ways that I think is important. First is equivalent fractions. See if you can solve it using equivalent fractions. Okay, the next thing, how to find a unit rate. And the third way is cross multiplying. Okay, so it's 3 different ways. Okay, so for example, can everybody see the screen? That first one says 2/3 equals x over 9. Can everybody see that? Well, that's just like equivalent fractions. So 2 over 3 is equal to x over 9. Okay, so it's just like converting the equivalent fraction. So if I look at, I have a known denominator on both sides. So what do I have to multiply 3 by to get 9? I can't hear you. 3. So we multiply the bottom by 3. Whatever we do to the bottom, we do to the top. Now I want to explain to you why. What is 3 over 3 reduced to? What whole number does 3 over 3 reduce to?
1.
1. What's anything times 1? Itself. This is why if you multiply, this is why they say whatever you do to the bottom, you do. Well, that's why. Okay, so if we multiply 2 times 3, that's 6. So 2/3 is equal to 6/9, because 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9. That's how you do it using equivalent fractions. Okay, this is the easiest way. For the most intents and purposes on the GED, that'll work. Okay, but say if it doesn't. Okay, they might give you decimals or something of that nature. But let me show you another way. Let me erase this. Now we're really not going to do we can do unit rate here, but it really doesn't make sense to do unit rate for number for this one. So I'm gonna show you this third way is the cross multiply. So now, and I'm also going to show you on the calculator. Okay, so I want you to remember that a lot of stuff can be done using the calculator. So now, okay, so cross multiply. So now, if you notice, I selected the two that will contain the variable first. So that term will be on my left side. What is 3 times x?
3x.
3x. Okay. Now, if you notice, I made a cross. See the x? What's 2 times 9?
18.
18. And now it's a one-step algebraic equation. 3x is equal to 18. In order to get the x by itself, I need to do what?
Divide by
Divide.
Divide by both sides by what?
3.
3.
3. And we get x is equal to 6. So we still got the same answer. Okay. Now, what I want to show you though, if you get a scale problem, if you get a proportion problem, you can do it on the calculator. What you have to realize is when you cross multiply, and this is why I have the practice in the sheet and on my website, because once you practice, you should see a pattern. And this is the pattern that you should see. Watch this. I'm gonna grab my calculator. Hold on. What you should notice, oops, let me clear that out.
Does it make a difference which one you cross multiply first?
It does not, but what happens is then your variable will be on the right side. And it's just easier for the variable to be on your left. But what you should notice is, remember I said cross multiply, right? I didn't like that blue. So let me go back to red. So what you should notice is we multiplied 3 times x and we multiplied 2 times 9. So we had 3x is equal to 18. If you then notice, we then divided by 3. So the first step will be to multiply the 2 times 9. And the second step will be to divide by 3. So on your calculator, watch this. You hit ND, 2 times 9, divided by the coefficient of the variable. It could be a half. It could be, in this case, it's a 3. Now, you're done. And you can do that on any proportion problem. You just have to know whatever the variables get multiplied by is what you're dividing by when you put it in your calculator. So for example, watch this. I'm just going to show you real quick. Let me save it. Let me clear it. So in this second one, not even the second one. So I'm gonna wait for the fourth one, and we're gonna use the calculator in both. But watch this. So here we're looking at 3/5 equal x over 60. Now, let me make that a little thicker. Again, the first way I would try is equivalent fractions. If you know your multiplication tables, you should know 5 is a factor of 60. So you know 5 goes into 60. So watch this. So 3/5 is equal to x over 60. What I have to multiply 5 by to get 60? Does anybody know?
10.
Not 10. 5 times 10 is 50.
12.
12. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. What is 3 times 12?
60.
3 times 12.
Oh,
36.
36. First of all, everyone on this call should know your multiplication tables better than that. So if you do not know them, you need to be practicing every single day. Every single day, because the more you doubt yourself with small things like multiplication tables, you're gonna get yourself in trouble. So again, x equals 36. So, okay, let's try this problem again using cross multiplication. 5x equal 180. Divide both sides by 5, and you still get x equal 36. Why? Because 5 going to 18 3 times. You got 3 left over. Bring down a 0, and then 5 and the 30 goes 6 times. But again, what happens is a lot of us know how to do this, but when we get decimals or we get 1.5 or something like that, then we get all confused. It's the same process every time. So now watch this. So now, again, if I grab my calculator, this becomes an easy problem. I know that I'm multiplying these first. Oops. I'm multiplying these two terms first because they do not contain my variable. And then I know I'm dividing by my variable. So when I go on my calculator, I'm hitting ND and I'm multiplying 3 times 60 and I'm dividing by 5. Simple, but it takes practice and you understand it. So now, if you notice, look at number. So let me save this. Now, I had a student. She sent me an email for number, this third one here, I think it is. Okay, again, it's the same setup. Again, 4/9 is equal to 24 over X. Remember, it's not the same type of problem. I mean, the same method every single time. This one is a little different, but you have to know what you're given. Since I'm given the numerator on both sides, those are the two that I'm going to compare. So now I'm not looking at the denominator. I'm looking, what can I multiply 4 by to get 24? You should say 6. And now whatever I do to the top, I do to the bottom. And then 9 times 6 is, you should be saying 54. Again, that's how fast you should be doing your multiplication table. If not, then you need to work on them every single day. This is an easy problem. X equals 54. Okay. All right. That wasn't too bad, Mr. Tensley. All right, let me clear it up. Can I do it on the calculator just as quick? Yes, I can. But what you have to remember is this. This is going to be my numerator because it does not contain my variable. This is going to be my denominator. So now all I'm doing, hit ND. I'm multiplying 9 times 24. And I'm dividing by 4. 54. Okay. Again, be prepared for ratio and proportions. You'll probably have 3 to 4 problems. Now we look at problems like this, when you got decimals or some kind of funky looking numbers. It doesn't matter if you have decimals. It doesn't matter if you have fractions. It does not matter. Again, you're doing the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to multiply 1.5 times 18, and then I'm going to be dividing by 6. So I'm going to grab my calculator. Again, that's why it's called, you can solve any proportion using by cross multiplication because they must be equal to each other. So, for example, so again, ND 1.5 times 1.8 was that 18? 18. That's an 18. Divided by 1.5. Now you don't have to concern yourself to nope, that's not right. ND 1.5 times 18. Oops. Divided by 6.
I got 4.5.
4.5. Now, what happens, I didn't do that on purpose. I just clicked the wrong button, not paying attention. But what you should know is you should know what the expected answer is. Mr. Tinsley, how do you know that? Let me show you. Let me clear it again. You should know or what's expected. So when you do get an answer, you should know whether it's right or wrong. What do I have to multiply 6 by to get 18? And you could estimate if that was a 20, it doesn't matter.
3.
You can ask 3. So you know 1.5 times 3 can't be 18. So you know when I made that mistake, I said, oh, 18, that can't be right. Oh, I made a mistake. I actually just made a mistake because we all do it, but it's setting it up. It's setting it up. It is setting the proportion up. 17x is equal to 51 times 4. That's one way. Oops. 17 times 4. That's 17x is 51 times 4. That's one way you can set it up. You can set up as equivalent fractions and say, okay, what I need to multiply each problem by. Top and bottom by 3. 4 times 3 is 12. 17x equal 204. Divide by 17. And I don't know what that is, but What you mean I don't know what it is? Of course I know what it is. It's 12. I just did it. Okay. Also, unit rate is also a way you can solve a problem. And let me show you what I mean by unit rate. Let me show you what I mean by unit rate. Okay, by unit rate. Here we go. Let me show you what I mean by unit rate. Let me find one. Here we go, right there. I like that one. Let me see if I have any more. Yes, I have some. Oh, there go some good ones right there. Okay, again, this is the practice website, free website. Write the ratio 180 miles on 10 gallons as a unit rate in miles per gallon. Well, guess what? This is telling you right there. So if you are on your exam and you see something per something, what does per mean? Division. Percent divided by 100. When you see the word per, that's division. So what that's saying is miles divided by gallons. I don't know what I was writing. That don't look like gallons at all. This is gallons. I don't know what I was writing. Sorry, I was writing too fast. Miles per gallon. So miles, 180. Look, it's setting it up for us. 180 divided by 10. We know dividing by 10 is just moving the decimal one place to the left. So that's 18 miles per gallon. So that means I can drive 18 miles on 1 gallon. That is what's called unit rate. Okay, how much does one cost? And then you can find any multiple. So if you know you get 18 miles per gallon, if I asked the question, I said, well, how far would you go on 3 gallons? You would say 18 times 3. 30 and 24 is 54. If I said, how far are you going to go on 3.5 gallons of gas? It's still 18 times 3.5. 54 and 9 is 63. So these are the things that you have to know. Unit rate. How much does one cost? How much is one? That's what you want to remember in unit rate. So let's do a couple practice problems real quick.
One question about that. Which answer would it be? Would it be B or D?
Hold on, let me see. Hold on. Let me see, B or G. Oh, so it would be B. Why? It's because miles per gallon. Miles per gallon.
Oh, with the dots in between.
Okay, so I'm wonderful. I'm glad you asked that. Who asked that question?
Keisha.
There's 3 ways you could see a ratio. Okay, they could write it as 18:1. They could write it as 18/1 as a fraction, or they could use the word 2. Okay, most word problems will use the word 2. You have to know to set that up as a fraction, because all math, all computation is done as a fraction. It's just they might give you different ways. So usually on the GED, they're going to use word problems, they're going to use the word 2. In high setting tasks, they like using the colon. Okay, so let me say that. Let's get some problems done. So here, this says, is this a proportion? Very simple. Most people do not do this question. I don't know if it's a proportion. How do I know? I don't. Can anybody tell me how I could tell if this is a proportion or not?
With the two, it has to be division with the equal in the middle.
What do you mean division with equal in the middle?
No, then I don't know.
Okay, anybody else?
Do they all have to add the same?
Nope. Let me show you how. So remember, these are 2 fractions. Listen, a lot of times proportion, listen, these are 2 fractions. Is 3/7 the same as 12/28? Very easy. What do I have to multiply 3 by to get 12?
4.
4. Whatever I do to the top, I do to the bottom. It's 7 times 4, 28.
Yeah,
Then this is true.
then it's
That's-
true.
That is one way you could do it. Another way is the way I just went over. Cross multiplication. You have cross, so is 7 times 12 equal to 28 times 3. So 7 times 10 is 70. 7 times 2 is 14. That's 84. If you didn't know 7 times 12 was 84, you can break it down. 7 times 10 is 70. And then 7 times 2 is 14. Then you add those two numbers up. Same thing here. If you don't know how to do it, break it down to a smaller problem. 3 times 20 or 3 times 20 is 60. 3 times 8 is 24. 60 plus 24 is 84. That's a proportion. How you can tell something is a proportion? If you cross multiply them together, are they equal? Okay.
Got it.
So here, look at this question here. I want you to tell me, is this a proportion? Is this a proportion? Yes, true or false?
Hold on, let me
Oops,
see.
oh, I'm sorry. I just did the same one. I thought I scrolled up and circled the next one. Sorry about that. Hold on. That one right there. Is that a proportion?
Hold on, let me get the answer.
Which one?
11 over 13 is equal to 33 over 36.
Yes.
True.
Okay.
I don't think
Okay,
it is.
I heard one yes. I heard 2 no's.
No,
No, that's
I heard a
not.
third
No,
no
it's
and a
not.
fourth no.
it's not.
Well,
It's
the
not a
E-
proportion, it's false.
Okay.
No, it's not.
So the easiest way first is equivalent fractions. What do I have to multiply 11 by to get 33? 3. Okay, whatever I do to the top, I do to the bottom. 13 times 3 is what?
39.
39. So that's not a proportion. Listen, the easiest way to solve a proportion, first try to use equivalent fractions. It's the easiest way. Okay. If push comes to shove, unit rate or cross multiplication. Now, again, you can still cross multiply. 33 times 13 is equal to 36 times 11. Okay. So, oops, did I close my calculator up? No, I did not. If you're in doubt with anything, use your calculator. You don't have to guess on anything. 33 times 13, I get 429. 36 times 11, I get 396. Are they the same? No,
No.
there's not a proportion. Now, let's look at some of these word problems. So I had another email. Somebody said, Mr. Tinsley, I got 100 on your ratio and proportions, but I can't do a word problem. Okay, let's look at a word problem. Let me increase this a little bit. Okay. The ratio of compact cars to larger model cars sold during a month was 9-4. If 72 compact cars were sold during that period, how many larger cars were sold? Now, this is a fill in the blank. So the young lady had taken a practice and was all multiple choice, and she got them right. She went on my site where I got the fill-ins, and she couldn't do it. So what she was doing, and now listen, I don't have any concern with that. She just used the multiple choice, filled them in until she saw that they were equal. Did she still get it right? Yes, but I want to make sure you have a conceptual understanding of how to solve ratio and proportion. So first of all, in this question, what do we know? What's given to us that we know?
The ratio 9-4.
What 9-4. Now, what does that 9-4 mean? What does that 9-4 mean?
A fraction.
It is a fraction, but how do I know how to use that fraction? How do I know what the 9-4 represents?
It's because is it how many?
Look at that. So what the 9-4 represents, and this is what's so important, that word two that I talked about earlier. It gives you the clue. So two, compact cars two. So this is going to go with that 9. And then the word, the model after the 2 is going to go with the 4. So the 9 is the compact car and the 4 is the larger car. I'm just going to put LC. Now, of course, you wouldn't write this on your exam, but I'm just writing that here so you know CC is the compact car and the 4 is the larger car. Why? Because remember, on the opposite side of that equal sign, because remember, proportion is 2 ratios set equal to each other. Well, we already know one ratio, 9:4. So we're going to put that equal sign, and then we're going to put the second ratio on the opposite side. Well, what do we know? We know there was 72 compact cars sold. So is that going to go on the top or the bottom on my second ratio? Is it going to go on? Why the top? And who said that?
Well, it's Patrick.
Patrick, why the top?
Because it's the compact cars.
Right. If you notice, look at that equal sign. Compact cars on the top, on the left side. Guess what has to be on the top, on the right side of this equal sign? Compact cars. That's the clue that people are missing. You have to have like terms on both sides of the equal. So if I have compact cars to large cars, I need to have the same ratio on the other side. But I don't know my larger cars. So how do I do this problem? I'm confused. This is the important part. You set it up. Compact to compact, large car to large car. How am I going to solve for X? What can I do? What's the first way I told you to try to solve a proportion? Use what?
You can cross multiply.
You can cross multiply, but the first way, the easiest way, I said do what first?
Write it as an equation.
That's the third way. What's the easiest way?
Use like fractions, I believe.
Use equivalent fractions. Equivalent fractions. This is the easiest way to solve a proportions if you can. And how do I know when equivalent fraction is the best time to use it? Does 9 go into 72 evenly? Or what do I have to multiply 9 by to get 72?
8.
8. Okay. So whatever I do, if I multiply the top by 8, I must also multiply the bottom by 8. What is 4 times 8?
32.
32. So 32 larger cars. X equal 32. That's the easiest way, is using equivalent fractions. Okay, let me just make sure. So we set it up, and let me erase some of this here. And now I'm just going to put the numbers. Okay, so we just got the numbers now. And if we set this up as cross multiplication, we would multiply what first? Can somebody tell me? What if I'm solving this using cross multiplication, what would I multiply first?
4
Before
times
the 72.
72.
Okay, so I heard 2 people say 4 times 72. Now, it does not matter. Me personally, I always multiply the one that contains the variable first. So 9x equal 72 times 4. Can somebody tell me what 72 times 4 is?
Hold on, I'll tell you. It's 288.
288.
288. Now, of course, I did a mental math. 4 times 70 is 280. 4 times 2 is 8. 280 plus 8 is 288. And then again, we divide by 9 on both sides, and we get x is equal to 30. What's that? 31 and 8, 6, 36. Is that the same answer we got before? Yes, because it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Now, I heard 2 people say, oh, 72 times 4. Okay, 72 times 4 is 288 equal 9x. Now, this time your variable's on the right. Is it any difference? No. Doesn't matter. The reason why I multiply 9 times x first, or the one that contains the variable, some of the variables are always on the left. It's just most teachers teach the variable on the left side, not on the right side, and then people get confused if it's on with the inequality rules. If the variable's on the right side and inequality, oh, I got to switch. Then people get all confused. So usually, what I try to do is keep my variable on the left side. Makes it a lot easier. So x is equal to 36. Now, let me ask you a question. I'm gonna change this up a little bit. Okay. Instead of 72 compact cars, I'm gonna put 20 larger cars. How many compact cars were sold? How would we set that up? So this now change the question, because remember, see, this is what I've noticed people have been doing. People have been taking these practice tests so much they remember the practice test. And then when they get something a little different, they don't know how to do it. No, this is not trying to remember how to do it. You want to know how to do it. First of all, understand the ratio that they give you. Once they give you the ratio, what's the unknown? And you set up your proportioning respectively to answer that question. So what is the ratio that we know again? What is the ratio that we know?
9 to 4.
9 to 4. 9 corresponds to what type of car?
Compact.
Compact. Okay. Equal. What is the other ratio that we want to set up?
20.
Okay, 20 over what?
The unknown. Is it unknown?
X.
Over x. How many people say that's right? How many people agree?
Multiplications.
Because this is what you had to remember. The 9 corresponds to the compact cars. The 4 corresponds to the larger cars. So when I gave you that there's 20 larger cars, the larger car the 20 has to go where?
At the bottom.
On the bottom. Because you're matching up that equal sign. See, the compact is on top, larger cars is on the bottom. So that means on the other side of the equal, you must have compact on top, larger cars on the bottom. Since we don't know the compact cars, that's what they're asking for. That's the unknown. That gets the variable. Now, and you can set it up, cross multiplication. What is the easiest way to solve this problem though? Remember, I said, what's the easiest way to solve this? Using what?
The calculator.
You can, but you don't even have
Like
to.
fractions.
Equivalent fractions. Should I multiply top and bottom by what?
By 5.
By 5. Why? Because 4 times 5 is 20. This is how you can tell. These are 2 numbers you know. So what do I have to multiply 4 by to get 25? Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. What's 9 times 5?
45.
You're done. You're done. Okay. All right. Let's try. This is high setting task. Okay. This is high setting task. This next one. They love this question. You're taking high setting test. Make sure they love this type of question almost all the time. But I'm gonna change it up just a little bit. Instead of having 14, I'm gonna have 17 cans. Cans of tomato juice are 2 for $105. At this price, what will 17 cans cost? Cans of tomato juice are marked 2 for $1.05. At this price, what will 17 cans cost? And for some reason, I don't know why, maybe I didn't drink enough water today. I can't remember how to do this problem. I don't even remember how to set it up. So I'm gonna give you a couple minutes, and then I want someone to tell me what's given, how you set it up, and how you can solve it. I'm gonna give 1 minute. And you can send me your answer in the chat. You can send me your answer in the chat. You can send me your answer in the chat. Okay, let's see. Oh, why y'all can't hear the timer? Why didn't it go off? That's weird. My phone is not making any noises. Okay, well, the timer went off. Let's see. I have one answer. Let's see. Okay, Patrick, I think that is right. I don't know. We're going to do it in the calculator. Alexis, that is incorrect. Liliana, that is incorrect. No, that may be correct. Yeah, that's correct. It may be correct. Let's see. Let's see. I believe that's right. Yes, I believe that's correct. Let's do it to make sure. So first of all, watch this. I'm going to show you something. This is very important. Watch this. So equivalent fractions. Unit rate. Cross multiplication. So these are the three ways I recommend it. First, equivalent fractions. Okay. So how will we set this up? How will we set this up?
2 over 105.
2 over 105. Hold on, Mr. Tinsley. I didn't set mine up that way. I did 105 over 2. I don't know. Does it matter? No. But we got to understand the 2 is the number of cans and the 105 is the price. Okay, so that's the first ratio that we know. 2 for 105 equals what?
17 over x.
17 over x. Is there a number that we can multiply 2 by to get 17? Well, it is, but a whole number. Think of a whole number. Is there a whole number that we can multiply by 2 to get 17?
No.
No. So even though this proportion is set up correctly, we probably shouldn't use equivalent fractions. Okay. So now I'm going to go to unit rate. How much does 1 cost? Okay. So to me, watch this. I'm going to show you something. Unit rate. $1.05 divided by 2, right? Will give me how much 1 will cost. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Okay. So what is 105 divided by 2?
75.75.
Don't know about that one.
52.5.
1.05 divided by 2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
1.05 divided by 2.
0.525.
So what's that's telling me is that each can of tomato juice costs 52.5 cents. So if I know how much 1 can costs, how can I find out how much 17 will cost? What do I need to do when I find the cost of 1?
Multiply by 17.
Multiply by 17. And we get what?
8.925.
8.925. Because we're talking about money. And money only has 2 decimal places. We need to round to the nearest 100. So this is why I said those answers were right but wrong.
So the hundreds is gonna be in the twos place?
Right, in the 2. Yep. And then you
Okay.
look at the number to the right, that's 5 or above, that 2 becomes a 3. So most people put 892. But since we're talking about money, that will round up to 893. In this case, why I changed that to 17 on purpose to make sure it did something like that, because it wouldn't cost us 8.925 cents, and $8.92 wouldn't be enough. So it would be 893. Now, cross multiplication. Now we can use that same setup. 2
نورو الدلة.
times 1.05 is equal to 17 over x. And again, if we cross multiply, we get 2x is equal to 17 times $1.05, just $17.85, and then divide both sides by 2. And we get x is equal to 8.925. And then we round off 8.93. The reason why I picked this example is because I told you I want you to try equivalent fractions first. Okay. Well, it's no number I can multiply, a whole number I can multiply 2 by to get 17. So equivalent fractions wasn't the best way. To me, for this one, I think the easiest way would be a unit rate. Most people try to probably use cross multiplication. What you will notice is it doesn't matter the proportion. You can solve every proportion cross multiplication. I got your message. Good. So you were right there, yes. So again, equivalent fractions, unit rate, or cross multiplication, you should be familiar with all 3 ways. For most intents and purposes for the GED, equivalent fractions are going to get you your answer. They will have a specific one for unit rate. Unit rate is always on your exam. Always. Not some of the time, it's always. That's one of those questions that's always on your exam. You will have a unit rate question. Now, what type of questions are unit rate? Scale. They love scale problems. They love them. That's all 3 exams, high set, task, and GED. They love scale problems. But you can solve all of them by cross multiplication. Again, now watch this. I'm gonna clear this out. If this was the same question, 14, watch this. $2.05 is equal to, now this is the number can, so that 14 is gonna go at the top. My unknown, I gotta multiply both by 7. X equal 735. Look how much easier it was with equivalent fractions. So I changed this for a reason so I can show you all 3 ways. But most of the time, they will give you, especially for the GED, they give you a nice, easy one. If you know how to use unit rate or know how to set it up with equivalent fractions quickly, you can be in and out of there in 30 seconds. Now, let's look at a more difficult word problem. And then I want to get to another questions that people gave to. Let's try this one. And again, this is all practice. So you can go to my site. This is all under ratio and proportions. So they give you the computation problems, simple computations, how to set up a ratio, simple computation problems, and then word problems. Okay, for anything you need, I got enough practice problems. Here goes scale problem. Okay, but I'm gonna change that. We're gonna do these last 2, and then we're gonna go to the next thing. If 5 gallons of paint will cover 1,125 square feet, how many gallons will be needed to paint a room with 2,875 square feet of wall surface? What? Mr. Tinsley, is that a ratio problem? How do I know that's a problem? Oh, I don't understand. Can somebody tell me, first of all, what's given and how you would set this problem up? what's given and how we could set this problem up.
I don't know, is it 2 we're looking at?
This 5 gallons of paint, not the 2 inches. 5 gallons of paint. This one here. This one.
Okay,
Is this the same kind of problem as the other ones?
You tell me. You tell me. And this is why I have these word problems, so you can attach the computation of racial proportions to a word problem. How do you know this is a racial and proportion problem?
Do we put the 1,125 over 5?
Okay, so 1125 over 5. So this is my square feet. This is my gallons. So this is what is this going to tell me? This is going to tell me my square foot per gallon. That division is per square foot per gallon. This is what you just said is unit rate. How much will 1 gallon cover? So what's 1125 divided by 5?
$225.
225.
Does it matter that
Square.
it's squared?
Yes. Why is it square? Why does it matter if it's square? Because what this tells you, this 2 or this square feet tells you that's area. Remember, all area is feet squared or square feet. So that's the area of the wall, length times width. So what it's telling you is 5 gallons can do 1,125 square feet. So what we found out is 5 gallons. So remember, what I said was a ratio is a comparison to 2 values. So what's the comparison? Well, 5 gallons will cover 1125. This is the ratio that we know. So what that tells us is by unit rate, each gallon of paint will cover 225 square feet. But that's not what they want. They want to know how many gallons will cover, how many gallons of paint will we need for 2,875 square feet. So it's a multi-tiered question. It's a unit rate problem first. And then we have to, what did you do, Alexis, to get that answer?
I divided 200,075 divided by 225.
Right. Listen what happened. Okay. And this is why I put this question on here. First, you had to find out how much 1 gallon is going to cover. And that's 225 square feet. Well, if I know I need 2,875 square feet, then I need to divide by how many 1 gallon will cover. And that works out to, you said 12.77. So my question is, how many gallons will you need to paint this room? How many gallons will you need?
12.
13.
No, 13. Because you need
Oh, wait.
12.7, 12 wouldn't be enough. You would need some more. So since you can't buy 12.77 gallons, you only can buy either 12 gallons or 13 gallons, right? So then you bought the 13th gallon, but you have some left. This is how painters calculate how much they're going to paint. This is how carpenters see how much carpet they're going to need. Okay, so they would need this is a question you need to understand. You will have something like it. Okay, let's look at it again. Okay, 1125 is to 5 gallons. So this is feet squared. So this is feet squared. So this is going to go up here. Okay, like to like. I don't know how many gallons I need. So on the calculator, if you are used to now setting up a proportion, you realize that you're going to cross multiply. So that's 2,875 times 5 divided by 1125. Or 1125x is equal to, now I'm just gonna write this out because I have no idea what it is. I mean, I could figure it out, but times 5. Either way, you're gonna get the same answer. So if you understand how to set it up on your calculator, you realize that the two numbers that I'm multiplying first that don't contain a variable, which is 2875 times 5, divided by my coefficient or the other term along with my variable, divided by 1125. Now, what? That's an improper fraction. How do I change that to a decimal? Knowing your calculator, hit those double arrows, you get 12.77. Look at that. So again, learning how to set these proportions up, I'm trying to get, there we go, will save you a lot of work. Because here you can't really, this is a two-tiered question. And what happens when people see questions like this, oh my God, they get all scared. No, what do I know? So when you break this problem down, you have to realize that they already gave you a ratio. When you realize that they've given you a ratio, you know this is a proportion problem. Okay? Same thing here. On a map of California, the scale is 2 inches equal 100 kilometers. I had a student say to me, she sent me an email on this problem. She said, what's a kilometer? Okay. Now, you should know what a kilometer is, metric system, but that's okay. It's fine. Do you need to know what it is to solve this problem? No. The first ratio you know is 2 over 100. 2 inches to 100 km. Equal, set up the proportion, 5.5 inches. Is my 5.5 gonna go to top or the bottom?
Top.
Top. Inches to inches. Since there's no number I can multiply 2 by to get 5.5, I'm gonna cross multiply. 2 times x, 2x is equal to 100 times 5.5. Again, mental math should tell you if I'm multiplying by 100, I move my decimal 2 places. So you should get 2x is equal to 550. Why? Because if I'm multiplying by 100, I'm moving my decimal 2 places. When there's nothing there, I add a 0. That's mental math. 2x equal 550, divide both sides by 2, and you get 250 and 25, which is 275. So what it tells you, the answer to this is find the actual distance in kilometers between 2 cities if the distance on the map is 5.5, 275 kilometers. I can almost guarantee you're going to see a problem like this. High set, GED, or task. They love scale problems. Now, the person who sent this in my email, even though she didn't know what a kilometer was, she set it up like this. And then she got stuck. Could she still have set it up this way and still solve this problem?
I think so, but I don't know what you wrote next to the 100.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I don't know if that is.
Let me write a little neater. 100, the abbreviation for kilometers is km over 2 inches. She set it up like this and didn't know what to do next. Now, there's 2 ways you could have done it. If you set it up this way, you could do unit rate. So if you do 100 divided by 2, that would give you 50 kilometers per every inch. Remember, you keep this. You keep your measurements here. Kilometers per inch. So 50 kilometers per inch. Well, if I know how far I can go for 1 inch, all I need to do is do 50 times 5.5. And you get 275. So the first way worked fine. The second way, we use unit rate, and we still got the same answer. Now, another way you could have done that problem without doing unit rate is, remember, they must match. It doesn't matter what order. Kilometers need to go on top, inches need to go on the bottom. So on the bottom, my 5.5 inches go on the bottom. My unknown is X. And then we set up the same thing. 2 times X is equal to 100 times 5.5. And we go the same problem. So I just showed you all 3 different ways to solve that problem. You just have to know, right, when you see a comparison, that's a ratio that's given. If they ask you a question, okay, oh, they give me an unknown, set up my proportion. Gotta be ready. Now, they might give you a whole paragraph worth of information. Just know what a proportion is and understand it. But let me go to this second thing that somebody sent me. Let me move this back out the way. Hold on, because time flew. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay, here we go. Listen, this is another, and I'm so glad that people sent me this. This is what I want you to do, whether it's through a text message, whether it's through email, whether it's through Facebook. This is how you find out if you understand something. Now, these examples I'm about to show you are algebraic expressions. Okay, listen, I'm guaranteeing you're gonna have at least 4 to 5 algebraic expressions. You either got set, you're gonna have to set, you want to write, you want to pick the algebraic expression, and then you're gonna have 2, you got to evaluate the algebraic expression. So you're at least gonna have 5. I'm telling you. So you have to be familiar with algebraic expressions. Now, this is not from my website. I believe this is from a book. But let's look at it. Okay, doesn't matter, whatever you're working on, email, text, or Facebook. Okay, Burnham Mills has 360 employees. The number of production employees is 12 more than the 3 times the number of employees who work in management. Which equation could be used to find the number of management employees? Oh my God, I will not do this problem. What are they talking about? First of all, take a deep breath. And the first thing I want you to do for every problem is ascertain what they're giving you. Okay, so what are they giving me in this problem?
Well, we know it's 360 employees.
So we know it's 360 employees. What else do we know?
The production employees is 12 more than 3 times the number.
There's 12 more than 3 times the number. Okay, okay. Who work in management. So the number of production employees, right? So that means the production employees plus the management is equal to 360. Everybody understand that?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. The production employee, they break it down, 12 more. What operation is 12 more?
Plus
Times.
12.
Plus, so that's plus 12.
Oh.
What is 3 times?
Multiplication.
Multiplication. So 3 times X, 3 times the number of employees, plus 12, right? This is only the production part. But X is the management, the people that work in management, the unknown, right? So we got 3X plus 12 because 3 times the number of employees who work in management. This is how you tell what your variable is going to be. So 3X plus 12 plus the management is just X equal 360. So since we have 2 like terms, what's 3X plus X? Oh, they don't even go that far. That's fine. They don't even go that far. This is all they want right there. They didn't even simplify it. I'm surprised. Usually they would simplify to be 4X plus 12 equal 360. Now, let me ask you a question. Now, this is what you have to be prepared for.
Is B or D?
D. The answer is
D.
D, not B, because remember we had to add 12 after we multiplied by 3. So this is the production employees. This is the management employees. What they tried to do is they wanted to see if you really understood what this meant. The answer is D. Now, to go a step further, we set up the equation. What if they wanted to know how many management and how many production employees there were? Then you would have to solve it. For the GED, for your expressions, you only have to set it up. But if we were to solve this, it would be 4x plus 12 equal 360. And then this becomes a two-step algebraic equation. We subtract 12 from both sides. And we get 4x is equal to 348. Divide both sides by 4. And I'm running out of room here. And x is equal to, what's that? 87. 8, 2, and 8, 87, I believe. Yep. So this tells you how many management you had. Because we said x was management. To find out how much production you would have, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to come over here. We got 3 times 87 plus 12. So you get 240 and 21, because 3 times 8, 3 times 80 is 240. 3 times 7 is 21. We add those up. 261 plus 12. We get 273. So these were the production, right? If we add that 273 plus that 87, what do we get? Oops, 360. Now for the GED, they're gonna ask you to set up expressions. I guarantee you 2 to 3 problems. They're gonna give you algebraic expressions. They want you to set it up. And then they're gonna have 2 where you have to evaluate it. We have to plug the values in. Okay. So you have to be prepared for that. So that answer will be D. Let's lose the second one. At a gym, is there another one? Yep, it's 3 of them. Let's try, what time? 7:02. We'll finish these last 3. At a gym, Frank did a certain number of push-ups. Tom did 12 more than Frank. The total number both men did was 66. Which equation could be used to find the number of push-ups Frank did? What? How do I do this problem? Can somebody help me? What do we know? What do we know?
Frank did a certain number of push-ups, so that would, the certain number would be X.
Okay, so this is your X. Perfect. What else?
Tom did 12 more than Frank.
Tom did 12 more than Frank. So what would that be? What expression would that be?
Are we putting the 12 over 66?
Nope. I heard somebody say plus. Who said that?
Yes, plus.
X plus 12, because he said 12 more. Okay, just use layman's terms. Okay, if I did 10 push-ups and somebody did 12 more, they would did 22. Oh, that's not multiplication, that's addition. So X plus 12. The last thing we know is that both combined did 66. So Frank plus Tom is equal to 66. So they got all different options here. They want to know, do you really know? Well, first of all, 12x, we know that's not it. So they wanted to see if you got this right. So again, so remember that previous problem, they didn't simplify it, which I was surprised. Here, we got to simplify. What's X plus X?
X.
Oh, no. What's X plus X?
2x.
2x. 2x plus 12 equals 66. So what they tried to do is they tried to mix you up. Look at all these different answers they got here. but your final answer should have been B. Your final answer should have been B. How do we know that? Because first we say Tom plus Frank equals 66. So this was Frank. This was Tom. Was their total. Frank plus Tom is 66. Okay, Patrick, I got your message. Oh, 2 other people passed this week. I put one up today. I'll put the other one up tomorrow. I think it's 2 people scheduled this week. So if you scheduled this week or coming up soon, schedule your one-on-one with me. Make sure. All right, let's go over this last one and then we can call it a night. Let's go over this last one. Actually, it's a whole bunch of them, huh? Oh, well, let's do this one right here. The GED loves problems like this one. Okay. 8 times a number divided by 4 equals 2 times that number. Which of the following equations could be used to find that number? What? Can somebody help me here? What's given? How do I know what to do?
8 times the number would be
8 times the number is what?
it would be 8y. They're using y instead of x
Right.
for unknown.
Okay, they're using y. 8y. 8 times the number. 8y. Then what's the next thing?
Divide by 4.
Divide by 4. So 8y divided by 4. So right there, this is what I want you to understand. Listen, I need you to understand. Right there, right? Bam, bam, bam. You're
Right.
done. You don't even have to do anymore. Because no other problem has 8y divided by 4. None of them. This is 32 divided by y. This is 8 divided by 4y. And then here, these 2 y's would cancel. You just have 2. So right away, just by understanding the first part, you already answered the question. But let's finish it. Equals 2 times that number. 2y. Let's simplify it. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 2y equal 2y. You get the same thing on both sides of the equal. Now you know you're good. Sometimes, but I'm telling you, you gotta, and that's why use my site. I got a lot of practice problems. But one of the things you got to realize is how to take a test. Sometimes you don't have to do the whole problem. Sometimes you can do part of it and you can start eliminating answers. On the GED and the high set, almost two of the multiple choice you can get rid of immediately if you just know the basics behind how to solve the problem. So identify what's given. That tells you what formula you can use or what computation you're going to use. Is anyone we didn't go over? That's it. That was it. Yeah, that was it. That was the one sent me. Yeah. Any last questions before we leave this evening?
Yes, I need to stay on the phone because I need you to show me how to input this percentage in my calculator.
Okay.
On your lesson, I had a problem with the lesson 5 on page 49.
I have no idea what page 5. Tell me what's the problem.
It's the percent. The top one is 40. It's 50% of what number, and I just need to know how to input that in my calculator.
Okay, 40 is what percent of what?
40 is 50% of what number?
40 is 50% of what number?
Yes, that's the question.
Okay.
I have to find the answer.
Okay, so what I wanted you, let me clear everything out. And if you want to stay on, you can. So what you have to remember, oops, let me clear all this out because I want to write on the screen too. Why is it not clearing out? There we go. This is what you have to remember about percents on any exam. There's several formulas that you need to know. First of all, percent is equal part over whole. You have to know these because this is what's going to tell you what formula you need to find to figure out your percent problems. Percent equal part over whole. Okay. If you want to find a part, you have to know it's whole times percent. And if you want to find the whole, it is part divided by percent. These are the three equations that all come from this first equation. Remember, just like algebra, if I wanted to get part by itself, I would have to multiply by whole, multiply both sides by whole. If I wanted to get whole by itself, I need to divide both sides by percent. So whole equal part divided by percent. All these equations, once you know this basic first equation, can be ascertained with simple algebraic concepts. So now, you said 40 is what percent? So listen what you asked. You said 40 is what percent? No, that's not what you said.
40
You
is
said 40
50%.
is 50% of what number,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So watch this.
80.
This is what you do. What did you get? What are they giving you? 40 is 50% of one number. Is that the percent, the part, or the whole? So you always identify what's given. So that's the percent. That's easy. That's the percent. Okay, is this the part or the whole? But if they telling you it's 50%, then it's not the whole. It's the part.
It's gonna be part.
So now you just grab your calculator, whole equal part divided by percent. Hit your ND, your part is 40, divided by your percent, which is 50%. There you go. So you gotta be able to identify what's given. So if they, for example, if they give you a problem and it says you're going out to dinner and it costs $80 and it's a 15% sales tax, okay, well, that means you want to find the part. Okay, whole times percent. So you got to understand what they're giving you. But those three parts: percent, part, and whole. The percent is easy. If they give you the percent, that's easy. You know that's the percent. You just have to identify what else did they give you. Did they give you the part or did they give you the whole? Then you throw it in your calculator with one of those three equations. With one of those three equations. And you're definitely going to have a percent problem. But usually what I've noticed is you only have one or maybe two at the most percent
Okay.
problems. So, but again, identify what's given. That's your first step to solve any of these problems. Identify what's given. What are they giving you? What can I use? So right there, 40 is what percent? 40 is 50% of what number? Okay, they gave me a percent and they gave me a part. Okay, well, whole equal part divided by percent. Throw that in your calculator. Now, you also could have done it this way. 40 divided by, and then 50% as a decimal is 0.5. But if you notice, you can put it as percent. You can use second and use this left parentheses, and you can use the percent. So you don't even have to change the decimals anymore if you know how to use this calculator. Okay?
Okay.
Any other questions?
That's it. I'm going to be doing, I am going to be doing my, I think it's my 10th and 11 on lesson 10 and 11 tomorrow.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I guess I'll text you because I'll be ready, I guess, to schedule a Zoom call.
This is only one-on-one. So what I also want you to do is any work that you've done on Schoology, remember those quizzes are unlimited. So you can take them as many times as you want. So I've noticed the first portion, you got them all correct. But then when it got to the word problems, so now go back
I
through the
did
word
so
problems.
good till I got there.
Right. So now go over the word problems and make sure you not do those word problems.
Okay, so when I redo the test, is it going to be the same one or will it give me a different one? So I can just do a different one on
Okay,
Schoology because I try
yes.
to do it on my breaks at work in the morning.
Okay, so if you go to in Schoology, those pre-tests are the same quiz over and over in different orders and different multiple choice.
Okay.
Same problems though.
Okay, I'll probably do another one while I'm at work in the morning. I'll try to do something with my time.
Okay. Anybody else before we leave?
No.
Gary, if you need me tomorrow morning, you call me before. If you got anything before you take the exam, call me.
I got a question.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
Nikita.
I know we got a tutoring session December the 3rd.
Right.
But I would like to reschedule.
Okay, just use that. What date do you want to schedule? I'll just change it on my end.
Actually, I just feel like I need to study a little bit more before I go into the tutoring part because I want to do it right before my test.
Well, what I want you to do is, what you can do is, they got a 50% off. You can take a practice test. I probably would keep the one-on-one. Keep the date set. Just take a practice test before that, so you can get it, so you can know where you are and what you need to specifically study.
Okay.
And then in that one-on-one, I'm gonna show you how to do it. So now you have something that you can watch specifically what you need to pass the exam.
Okay, where's that practice test at?
Oh, on GED.com. Oh, now you can either take one. So a lot of people taking the one on my site on schoology.com. I got like 5 of them. You can do those, or you could just take a actual GED practice test on the site. Now mine are free. I got 5 of them. You can just go to the site, log in, and then take those. My test is harder than the real exam. So if you get over 55 or 60 on my exam, you're gonna fly right through that exam. Believe me, my test is rough.
Okay.
What is the page for you?
So if your book is ready yet, I'm waiting for the book.
The hardback, yeah. Matter of fact, I just sent the printer email today. He's back open, so hopefully he give me a quote tomorrow, and I'll send it right off to him. Yep.
Your practice test on scholar.com.
Schoology. Schoology.
Schoology.com.
So go on your email. Did you make an account yet?
I did. I've actually been on there a couple of times on the website.
Yeah.
Schoology.
Okay. So you will go here. Let me log in. Let me show you real quick. That's a little bit too big. You're only gonna see one course on your end. So if you actually want to take, so let me just explain to you again real quick before we leave. There's 2 types of practice tests. Okay. So if you go here, you got practice under math lessons. You got practice under there. So if you don't understand something, you can go into math lessons and practice and have a textbook that you can read about. It shows you how to do it. But if you want to practice, these are all practice things. You can practice on specific stuff, or you can actually take a practice GED exam. There are 2 types. The feedback will give you your answer if you get it wrong and explain how to do it.
Okay.
Similar to actual tests, is like the real test. You can't see what you did wrong, just gonna mark it, and then you get your score at the end.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So are they the same test? These 2 right here, the practice GED?
Yeah. So the practice GED with feedback and practice GED actual test, yes, they basically the same. Might be a few differences, but usually if I gave the same number, they're the same test.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Everybody have a wonderful evening. I'll send out the
Thank you.
recording this evening. Remember, if you text, email, that's probably the best way. The Facebook gave me some problems because I was trying to download and get it up. The best way is either text it to me or email it to me. So then we have class, and not even before class, even if you have a problem tonight, sometimes I'll give you the answer right through a text message or send you a small video how to do it during the week. Don't wait a whole week.
All right, thank you.
All right,
Everybody
thank
have
you.
a wonderful evening. You're so welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
Layla, you good?